Thank you for joining us at the 2025 BC Active Transportation Summit in beautiful Kimberley, British Columbia. Over the course of the event, Caroline Duneau got a chance to catch up with and connect with representatives from our valued sponsors to learn more about their important contributions to active transportation projects across the province. We sat down with Scott MacDonald, a sustainable transportation planner with ISL.
Can you tell me about an interesting active transportation planning project that ISL has done in BC?
Recently, we completed Cranbrook's active transportation plan. So that was kind of wrapped up just over a year ago. It's adopted, and it's now starting to be implemented. So we'll start seeing some changes around the community. And actually, yesterday was one of the projects got paved. So I'm excited to get on site and ride that.
That's awesome. At a high level, what are some of the interventions and infrastructure improvements that are being done as part of the plan?
It's a range. So like inevitably, when you're planning for a community, you're going to end up with a list of projects that need to be completed over a given number of years. And some of those are quick wins, and some of them are corridors that can be built out using quick build techniques. And then some of them need to be kind of more comprehensive rebuilds that take longer phased projects. So I'm just thinking here, like, of course, the quick wins are nice, but you want to direct resources and money to where the highest impact is going to be towards the plan's goals, which usually center around shifting mode choice towards more sustainable ways to get around, like biking or walking, or giving people a route to get to transit.
What is one hurdle you can think of in advancing active transportation across BC from your expertise in working at ISL?
It's funny, like I was speaking with City of Cranbrook representatives here this week, and we were all talking about how not having an active transportation plan can be a hurdle. You try to get funding for a project and you're told that it's not available because you don't have a long-term strategy that kind of gives the grantor confidence that the money that they're investing is part of that long-term strategy that's kind of set out to achieve larger outcomes. So, active transportation plans aren't an essential plan in BC, but as communities are looking for funding and ways to achieve, mode shift and these other goals that are usually set into the OCP, an active transportation plan is kind of becoming de facto an essential piece of planning.
What was kind of the central planning approach to creating this long-term infrastructure network in Cranbrook?
It's different for all communities. Different communities are different sizes. Like some communities are, they kind of center around one hub of activity. Other communities are kind of polycentric, and they require kind of different levels of or a different methodology in terms of how you approach it. But when we started to look at Cranbrook's gaps in their active transportation network, we pretty soon realized that if you just connected the schools, that it would get you a pretty complete network, which was great because it's quite a relatable message for people. Everyone's heard, people complain that nobody walks to school anymore. And I always think it's best to lead with your most prominent, relatable message. So I think it really worked out that we could build out a complete network and communicate that complete network in a way that kind of got people on board.
Has there been any, integration of this infrastructure to schools with larger, education initiatives, enforcement, encouragement around school travel in Cranbrook?
I actually don't know to date. Inevitably, like these plans are set out to kind of get schools to build more bike parking and get people to walk and bike more to schools so that the schools kind of have to think about that more. Whereas now a lot of schools around BC are having to think about, how to get traffic moving, when parents are dropping off their kids. So we've actually in Nanaimo had a project a few years back that added protected bike lanes along this corridor along Metro Drive. It got more kids biking to the school, which was connected to the corridor. And now the school has actually had to add more bike parking because more kids are now biking to school. So I think plans like this, they're intended to get the infrastructure in, and then hopefully that creates other problems for schools and businesses in that they have to, add bike parking and kind of service some of that demand.
Yeah, it sounds like these plans can be a catalyst for future change and kind of serve as the anchor for for future improvements.
That is the hope, yeah.